Welcome to this video, where we explore the top 2 most valuable Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel coins, small coins with big value. These nickels may appear ordinary, but rare minting varieties and low survival rates have made a few of them worth thousands of dollars today. Let's take a closer look at the 2 giants of the Jefferson nickel world. Let's get started. First up, the 1978 Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel. This one struck without a mint mark, indicating it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint and preserved in circulated condition. Whether you're a beginner collector or a seasoned numismatist, this coin has a lot to appreciate. The 1978 Jefferson nickel comes from a period just before major design updates and before mint marks were added to the front of the coin. Because this coin carries no mint mark, it reflects the long-standing tradition of Philadelphia coins remaining unmarked for most of U.S. history. On the obverse, we see the familiar and dignified profile of Thomas Jefferson, the 3rd President of the United States. Even in circulated condition, the portrait maintains its unique character and presence, though wear is noticeable across the high points. Jefferson's hair, usually filled with detailed lines, appears softer on circulated examples. The flattening of the curls and reduced sharpness around the ear and forehead are typical signs of extended time in pocket change and everyday use. The word Liberty rests to the left of Jefferson, followed by the date 1978. On circulated coins, these letters often show friction marks or minor fading, yet the text remains completely readable and full of historical charm. The motto, "In God We Trust," is also displayed on the obverse. While circulation may cause slight dulling or discoloration, the message remains strong, cut clearly into the metal even after years of handling. The coin's circulated condition also affects the fields, the flat surfaces around the design. Instead of the bright sheen of an uncirculated piece, circulated 1978 nickels commonly show scratches, light dents, and a muted gray tone. Flipping the coin over, the reverse side showcases the Monticello building, Jefferson's iconic Virginia home. The design is one of the most recognizable in American coinage and has remained almost unchanged for decades. On circulated examples, the Monticello structure often appears softer, with reduced line definition. The pillars, rooflines, and steps may look worn, yet the architectural outline still stands proudly. The word Monticello sits directly below the building. In circulated condition, this word can show flattening, but it usually stays clearly readable due to the strong depth originally applied during minting. Above the building is the inscription E Pluribus Unum. On a heavily circulated coin, some letters may appear faint or lightly rubbed, though most 1978 nickels still retain good clarity in this phrase. Below the building, the phrase 5 cents identifies the denomination. Even after years of circulation, this bold text typically remains intact, though it may appear smoother than on uncirculated pieces. At the bottom rim, the phrase United States of America completes the reverse design. Circulated wear can soften the edges of these letters, but they remain prominent enough for easy recognition. Because this coin has been in circulation, its color shifts from the original bright nickel tone to a more muted, sometimes unevenly gray surface. This natural patina gives the coin character and reflects decades of use. Small scratches, tiny dings, and light abrasion marks are part of the circulated charm. Each mark hints at how many hands may have passed this nickel along over the years: shops, pockets, vending machines, and more. The edges of the coin, though originally smooth and uniform, often show signs of wear in circulated examples. Slight nicks or flattening around the rim are common but normal for a coin of this age. Despite its wear, the 1978 Jefferson nickel remains a reliable and easily identifiable piece. The design is timeless, and collectors appreciate coins like this for the history carried in their imperfections. Philadelphia struck hundreds of millions of these nickels, making them common in circulation, but each piece still represents a moment in America's numismatic story. What makes circulated coins fascinating is that no two look exactly the same. Each develops its own pattern of wear, its own texture, and its own subtle coloration depending on where and how it traveled. This 1978 nickel, without a mint mark, is part of the long-running Jefferson nickel series introduced in 1938. For decades, the design remained consistent, making each new year a continuation of a proud tradition. Collectors often examine the rims and edges on circulated coins. The integrity of the rim helps determine how heavily the coin was used, and on 1978 nickels, a moderately worn rim is completely normal. Under certain lighting, Circulated coins can still display small pockets of luster, tiny reflections from lower worn areas that survived years of handling. Catching that shine on camera adds visual depth to your video. Monticello's dome is one of the first areas to flatten as the coin wears. On circulated 1978 examples, the dome often appears smooth, but the overall shape still remains easy to identify. Jefferson's cheek and jawline also show noticeable wear on circulated pieces. These high points flatten quickly, giving the portrait a softer, more lived-in appearance. Circulated coins also develop surface dirt from years of handling. This isn't permanent damage, just part of the natural aging process that gives coins a rustic, well-traveled look. The raised lettering on both sides remains sturdy, even with wear. U.S. nickels are known for durable metal and strong strikes, so most 1978 coins retain readable text decades later. In circulated condition, the coin's original bright shine is replaced by a more subdued finish. Some collectors prefer this, seeing it as a sign of authentic circulation history rather than unused storage. When filming your video, slow close-up shots of both the obverse and reverse help viewers appreciate the texture and wear patterns that make circulated coins unique. You might also highlight how the absence of a mint mark tells us that this coin was made in Philadelphia, the main minting facility responsible for enormous production volumes in the 1970s. Though not a rare coin, the 1978 Jefferson nickel remains an affordable and important piece for building year sets or completing a full Jefferson run from 1938 onward. Coins like this also make great educational tools, showing new collectors what typical circulated wear looks like and how nickel coins maintain their durability over time. As the Jefferson nickel series continues into modern times, older circulated coins like this one bridge the generations of U.S. currency, connecting modern collectors with the past. This 1978 Philadelphia nickel may not be a high-dollar rarity, but it holds historical significance, everyday charm, and a place in the long, proud legacy of American coin design. Your circulated 1978 Jefferson nickel tells a story, one written through years of use, thousands of exchanges, and the steady passing of time. It stands as a reminder of both America's history and the enduring quality of its coinage. Next up, the 1946 Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel, minted without a mint mark, meaning it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. This coin, preserved in circulated condition, carries nearly 8 decades of history, and today we'll take a slow, detailed look at every feature, every mark, and every story it holds. The 1946 Jefferson nickel is especially interesting because it comes right after the wartime silver nickels ended in 1945. This year marks the return to the original copper-nickel alloy, giving the coin a fresh start in America's post-war era. On the obverse, we see the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag. Although circulated wear softens the high points, Jefferson's dignified profile remains strong and recognizable. The details in Jefferson's hair, especially near the ear and along the back of the head, show typical smoothing from circulation. The strands that were once crisp now appear soft and gently worn. Across the left side of the coin, the motto "In God We Trust" follows the curve of the rim. In circulated condition, these letters may show faintness or surface rubbing, yet they stay fully readable. To the right, the word "Liberty" leads into the date 1946, separated by a small star. On a circulated example, the date may appear slightly compressed from decades of pocket wear, but it remains one of the most important identifiers of the coin. The fields around the portrait, the smooth areas, often develop light scratches, contact marks, and dullness from years of use. These imperfections are natural and add authentic age to the piece. The overall color of a circulated 1946 nickel usually leans toward muted gray, with darker tones gathering in deeper creases, showcasing its vintage character and long circulation history. Turning the coin over, we come to the iconic Monticello design on the reverse. The building, Jefferson's historic home, stands centered and bold, even if softened by years of use. The dome of Monticello, one of the highest points of the reverse, shows the most noticeable smoothing. Yet the rounded shape remains clearly visible and instantly familiar. The pillars and steps of the building also show flattened detail, but the general structure remains fully recognizable, a testament to the strength of the original engraving. Above the building, the motto "E Pluribus Unum" curves along the top. In circulated condition, the letters lose some sharpness but stay readable even in heavy wear. Directly below the building sits the name Monticello. Due to the deeper engraving, this word often survives in good shape, even after many decades of handling. Below the building, the denomination 5 cents is displayed prominently. On circulated coins, the edges of these letters may appear smooth, but the text remains bold enough to stand out clearly. Along the lower rim, the phrase, United States of America, completes the reverse. Circulation where can lighten the strokes of the letters, yet they remain well defined. Because this coin was produced in Philadelphia, there is no mint mark, which is typical for nickels from this era. The absence of a mint mark is one of the easiest clues when identifying where the coin was made. At nearly 80 years old, this circulated 1946 nickel carries surface marks from generations of pockets, wallets, change jars, vending machines, and everyday life. These marks are not flaws, they are its story. You may also notice small patches of darker toning forming naturally across the surface. This oxidation is normal for vintage nickel and often gives the coin a deeper, more historic appearance. The rim of the coin, although worn, still frames the design well. Some flattening is expected in a circulated piece, yet the structural integrity remains strong. On the obverse, Jefferson's cheek, jawline, and nose are particularly smooth, as these are the highest points that wear down first in circulation. This softening is a sign of genuine use. Under certain lighting, the coin might still show subtle hints of original luster in protected areas near the lettering or inside Jefferson's hair, where wear is less extreme. The reverse may also reveal faint remnants of mint luster near the steps or under the dome, though circulation usually removes most of the shine. Even in circulated condition, the lettering stands strong. Nickel is a durable metal, and the 1946 Jefferson nickel remains one of the more resilient pieces of mid-20th century coinage. Collectors often enjoy circulated examples like this because they represent an inexpensive but meaningful way to build a historic collection, especially from the important post-World War II period. 1946 nickels also mark the first full year after wartime silver production ended, making them a transitional piece not only in composition but also in American history. Because Philadelphia produced a very large quantity of these coins, they circulated heavily across the nation for decades, and finding them in circulated condition today is extremely common. The design of the Jefferson nickel remained largely unchanged for decades, making the 1946 issue part of a long, continuous tradition of U.S. coinage stability. Holding a circulated example gives an authentic glimpse into what everyday money looked like for Americans in the late 1940s, 1950s, and beyond. When filming, close-up shots of Jefferson's portrait and Monticello can help viewers appreciate the wear patterns, which are unique to every circulated coin. Highlighting the absence of a mint mark is also informative, as many newer collectors don't know that Philadelphia coins were typically unmarked until decades later. The coin's circulated condition may show subtle contour lines and color transitions across the metal, adding visual interest as you move it under the light. Even with wear, the coin remains a functional and iconic piece of currency, showcasing the durability of U.S. nickel composition and design. Your 1946 Jefferson nickel may not be rare or high value, but its age, durability, and history give it charm and meaning, especially for collectors who respect circulated pieces. This coin bridges the past and present, minted in the aftermath of World War II and still surviving today as a symbol of American history preserved in metal.